Good evening, everyone. We will now begin the evening service of the Miroku Association headquarters, expressing our gratitude to God and Meishu-sama for blessings and protection received while participating in the construction of paradise on earth. Amatsu-Norito and Miroku Prayer, please stand. 高天原にかむずまります。かむろぎかむろみのみこともちて、すめみおやかむいさなぎのみことつくしのいむかのたちはなのほどのあぎはらにみそぎはらいたもうときになりませる。はらいどのお神たち、もろもろのまがごと罪けがれよ。はらいたまえ、清めたまえとまおすことのよしを。あまつかみくにつかみやおよろすの神たちともに、雨のふちこまの耳振り立てて、きこしめせとかしこみもまおす。弥勒おみかみ守りたまえさきはえたまえ。弥勒おみかみ守りたまえさきはえたまえ。教えみよや主の神、守りたまえ、先はえたまえ。教えみよや主の神、守りたまえ、先はえたまえ。くんながらたまちはえます。くんながらたまちはえます。Great God of light, creator and giver of all life, in accordance with your divine will, the long gate of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious gate of light, a time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us to your divine plan and for the privilege of channeling and receiving Johrei. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified as we live your truth given to us by Meishu-sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized, with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives. Great God of light, bless and protect us. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan. Please be seated. We will now receive group Johrei.
May God and Meishu-sama bless you.
Johrei is now concluded. We will now listen to a reading from Meishu-sama's teachings. Guidance for living in this world. Know that in this world some things should be said, some not. Those dedicated to the spiritual path should be mindful of their words. Individuals with great spirituality radiate something warm and loving, which can be felt by everyone around them. It is most pleasant to listen to those who speak of things as they are, frankly and truthfully. The qualities that are most lacking in people today are thoughtfulness and humility. Those who serve in God's work should pay particular attention to this. There is an easy way to tell how much your spiritual awareness has grown and to what degree your spiritual body has been purified. When you find yourself shunning conflict and becoming more thoughtful and humble, and this disposition is reflected in your attitudes toward others, it is a sign that your spiritual awareness has been expanded. Here lies the value of true faith. Those who have grown to this level will win the love and respect of others, impressing them as being living examples of their faith. A truly civilized society is one in which people foster high standards of proper behavior and philanthropic ideals. When the number of such individuals increases to the point where moral principles are adhered to by society as a whole, a genuinely pleasant world will become a reality. Such a world can be called a true paradise on earth, and it is within our grasp.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining this evening service of the Miroku Association headquarters. First, I would like to thank for all of those who could participate in our event today called One Day in Paradise. We run that event from 3 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Some of you may not have the conditions to participate because of work-related issues or other situations, but I know that even those who couldn't participate were projecting their prayers and thoughts for the success of the activity. We had more than 100 participants. It was a successful event. I want to thank you very much for that. It was very important to pray today, 9/11, 20 years since the collapse of the Twin Towers. So many perished, more than 3,000 people. So we were projecting our prayers for all those victims that perished on that day, those who were still affected by the consequences some years after that event. And we were also praying for visualizing a sacred ground in North America in the future. We understand from Meishu-sama's teachings that the sacred grounds already, the foundation already exists in the spiritual realm. So it is up to us to materialize that reality. So today we took this very important step through Johrei in prayer for the materialization of such an ideal. Meishu-sama also stated that Sacred Grounds in North America will include an art museum, and its funds will be donated by the American people. This evening, I would like to share this faith experience from Domingas Augusto. She's from Luanda, Angola. Domingas Augusto is a missionary and gives service as an assistant in the health division of our church in Angola. She was introduced to our church in July 2002 through her brother, who is a Johrei member. The reasons for being guided were illness, financial difficulties, and family conflicts. She suffered from malaria for 3 years. Her children got sick every month, and the salary her husband received was used to defray the cost of medication and debts they incurred in hospitals. Within her family, there were frequent deaths, a fact that caused discord amongst them. It was in this context of suffering that her brother invited her to get to know our church. In the Johrei Center, Domingas was received by a missionary who listened attentively to her and guided her in the basic practice of our faith. She complied with the guidance received without difficulties, and in 2 months of dedication, all her problems were solved. To express gratitude for the blessings received from God and Meishu-sama, she made a special donation to become a member and receive the sacred focal point of Hikari, thus becoming a member to serve in this great divine work. The experience of faith that she is about to report is related to serving with gratitude in dedications, the special donation for the construction of the future sacred grounds of Africa, and other basic practices of faith. She always had the desire to have an extra job, so as not to depend on 100% of her salary. She dedicated with the mental attitude to receive permission from the Supreme God and Meishu-sama to open a commercial establishment. This is how in 2019, in November, a co-worker told her that he had an establishment with some products, but it was closed and he wanted to rent. So she took the opportunity and signed the contract to get it. After the contract, she cleaned the place, met with the existing employees, and left the responsibility to them because she was very busy with her existing job. Activities were started, and it was found that the commercial establishment had tax debts and some documents expired. As the owner, she didn't follow the evolution of the establishment, just occasionally passing by it to check the status of the product's stock. So even after a year, she noticed that the business was not yielding. She was constantly receiving the visits of inspectors and were fined for documents that were not up to date. With the amounts collected from sales, she was unable to pay employees or suppliers on time. She was burdened with debts, thinking about ending the contract she had. Angry with this situation and not knowing what to do, she went to the Johrei Center seeking to receive a guidance. Her minister asked if she was tithing with percentages of profits. She replied that she did occasionally. He encouraged her to daily tithe and donate for the construction fund from every sale she made. As she was on vacation at that time, she decided to be present at the Johrei Center on a daily basis. First, she cleaned the place, set up a vegetable garden, and sold flowers. With the amount of the first sale, she made a maximum effort donation with the feeling of asking for forgiveness and thanking all her ancestors who manifested themselves in the midst of those difficulties. Then she began to tithe and for the construction fund, even with the debt situation in which she was facing. As a result, the atmosphere in the workplace changed, income increased, and she was able to pay off the debts she had with suppliers, tax agencies, and employees. The workplace has also become a place of expansion because when someone appears with an illness, she channels Johrei to him or her and offers flowers of light. With this practice, she was able to guide 2 people to our church who are attending the Johrei Center. Of these, one had a swollen hand due to a skin disease, but by receiving Johrei, he was healed and got a job. Now, when she needs some products, suppliers arrive on time, sometimes without further notice. There are even times she needs to dismiss some of them to avoid overstocking. This allowed her to triple her gratitude donations, and she was allowed to receive 10 healthcare interns with an apprenticeship license. With the amount they paid to her, she made a special donation to express gratitude for the blessings and purifications. On the same day, at closing time, as usual, they prayed. At that time, one of the employees incorporated the spirit of her mother, who has been in the spiritual realm for 15 years, saying the following: "Thank you so much. Thank you very much for materializing this donation, because it paid off the spiritual debts of the owner of the establishment and of our ancestors who did business in the age of darkness with ascetic practices. With that, you can continue to work at will, and don't forget to always express your gratitude." Thanks to God and Messiah Meishu-sama, she has been granted permission to assist with Johrei and give religious assistance to 2 homes around her business. She understood the meaning of the phrase found in Meishu-sama's teaching: "You are what you feel," which says, gratitude reaches God, while ingratitude reaches dark forces. Dominguez is committed to continue to deepen in the present guidelines of our church, as well as caring for others to grow in their faith and to participate in pilgrimage to the places of greatest light in our church. Dominguez is very thankful to the Supreme God, Messiah Meishu-sama, and her ancestors for showing her this path of salvation. Thank you very much. That was the experience from Dominguez of Luanda, Angola. I want to thank you for attending this service. Wish you a very wonderful rest of this Saturday and a wonderful Sunday as well. Thank you very much.
This brings to a conclusion our evening service. Thank you everyone for joining us, and have a blessed evening.